It's time once again for Storytime with Auntie C. That's me. I'm going to be reading today a book called Lamont the Lonely Monster. And it's by Dean Walley, and it has illustrations by Don Page. And it's very, very fun. I really like this book. I've had it for many, many years, and I hope that you will enjoy it too. So here we go. Lamont the Lonely Monster. Once upon a time, there was a very lonely monster named Lamont. He was hairy and scary on the outside, like other monsters. On the inside, he was good and kind. More than anything else in the world, Lamont wanted a friend. He went from house to house, looking for a friendly face, but the people inside always greeted him in the same way. After knocking on 77 doors without finding even one friend, Lamont was about to give up. But just then he saw a little house that looked very friendly, so he decided to try once more. Lamont knocked softly on the door, and when it opened, he saw a little boy. "Would you be my friend?" asked Lamont. "I have a better idea," said the little boy, who was very nice and didn't want to hurt Lamont's feelings. "Why don't you go over to Monster Mansion? You may find a friend there who's just right for you." Lamont thought that was a very good idea. So that very day, he went to number 13 Dreadful Drive and knocked on the door of Monster Mansion. No one answered, so Lamont pulled the door open and saw Sam, the sulky skeleton. "Hello," said Lamont. "I'm looking for a friend." "What a bother," said Sam sulkily. "I'm not about to be your friend, but you can look around Monster Mansion if you want to. Better watch out for Uriah the Heep, though. He eats monsters like you for breakfast." Keeping that warning in mind, Lamont, the lonely monster, began to explore. "Maybe there's a friend in here," he said, when he saw what looked like a hope chest. But when he opened the lid, he found a sleeping vampire. "He doesn't look very friendly," said Lamont as he closed the lid. "And I'd better watch out for Uriah the Heep. He sounds dreadful." In the next room, Lamont heard the sound of heavy breathing from a closet. "Maybe that's a new friend trying to get out," said Lamont. But when he opened the door, there was a werewolf. "Row!" growled the werewolf. "He doesn't sound very friendly to me," moaned Lamont. And he shut the door and went on his way, hoping that he wouldn't run into Uriah the Heep. "My, what a lot of books," said Lamont as he went into the library. "Here's an interesting one called Open Here." As Lamont pulled the book from the shelf, a hidden panel in the bookshelf creaked open, and there stood a pair of ghosts. "It's Uriah the Heep!" they screamed as they disappeared. "If people confuse me with that terrible fellow," said Lamont, "I'll never find a friend." Lamont walked down the hall until he came to a door where a lot of smoke was seeping out. Disregarding the sign on the door, which said "Keep Out," he opened it to see what was inside. "Ah!" shrieked a witch. "How dare you interrupt me when I'm mixing my secret potion?" "Sorry, dear," whimpered Lamont. "I was just looking for a friend." "Be gone!" cried the witch. "And may you meet Uriah the Heep before the day's out. He'll take care of you." "That's what I'm afraid of," shuddered Lamont as he crept away. "I'll try one more door before I give up and go home," said Lamont as he stopped before the largest door in the house. The lonely monster should have been more careful, but now he was willing to risk anything to find a friend. He reached out and threw open the door, only to find Uriah the Heep. "Ha-ha!" cried the horrible Heep. "It looks like I've found another victim." Please, Mr. Heep," Lamont stammered. I'd make a terrible breakfast. Couldn't we be friends?" Friends? Cried Uriah the Heep. Friends? You and me? Friends? Well, that is why I came here, Mr. Heep. I want so much to have a friend. And at that, a great big shiny tear trickled down the cheek of Uriah the Heep. No one has ever wanted to be my friend before, he said. This is the happiest day of my horrible life. All the other creatures who were lurking in the fireplace could hardly believe their ears. So, as the bewildered boarders at Monster Mansion looked on in amazement, Lamont the Lonely Monster and Uriah the Heep locked arms and walked into a sunshiny world and into the beginning of a beautiful friendship. The end. I hope you enjoyed our story, and I hope that you will join me once more in the future for another episode of Storytime with Auntie C. That's me. Bye-bye.